Hello, my name is Stacy Tanner, and I'd like to present to you my final paper on agenda setting and media. This presentation is for class Communication 1307, instructor Professor Abernathy. My presentation today will cover what I've learned in the class on media intake. The essay assignment was to write about a favorite form of media, whether it be your favorite show, book, magazine, or internet site. Well, my choice of the topic of my essay would be the old boob tube. Actually, for those with a little seasoning, that's actually the TV, or what we call television. Did you know that the first electronic transmission was in 1927, and by 21-year-old Philo Farnsworth rotated a straight line, scratched on a square or a painted glass by 90 degrees to invent the first electronic television transmission. Finally, in 1930, he received a patent for the first electronic television. Now enough with the history of television and how it got started. Now on to my presentation. The television is the most preferred medium, basically, because it gives you moving visuals that one tends to identify with more better compared to just listening to the radio or reading a newspaper. These mediums leave the imagination to do majority of the work in terms of drawing up images in your head relating to specific stories in question. With this television, there tends to be a higher level of identification emulation involved, in the sense that watching a program on the television, I'm quick to assimilate, react either positively or negatively compared to just reading or listening to programs. My program of choice from television would be CIS Miami. CIS Miami television show is by far the most preferred television program. This program is packed with action, drama, intrigue, deceit. It showcases a South Florida team of forensic investigators, police officers who, with the help of cutting-edge technology and old-fashioned police chores, are able to break down or seriously intense criminal acts. I'm really fond of this program because what it does, it like I said, it breaks down the factual matters. The factual matters of CSI Miami, from the investigating crime scenes to determine who the major suspects could be, putting small clues and pieces together, probing suspects, and finally nabbing the main culprit. It always made me wonder if in real life the exact how they operate. The show focuses on facts portrayed on crimes that actually do happen in real life, from rapes to domestic violence to murders, etc. For me, I don't want to watch to entertain myself. I watch it because for an hour I get to actually go onto the scene of the crime and investigate with the investigators to find out the facts of these murders, or may it be a rape or any type of nabbing or any type of crime. I always watch and note down the significant findings that these detectives make. I always watch and note their discoveries. Some of these real crimes could happen in real life. This helps me become a probing person rather than a passive person. CSI Miami, as well as all other detective shows, get you away from the media circus. That's my main point. They tend to ponder on details of the facts rather than the regurgitation of stories from the media on the regular news channels. It is true, however, that sometimes the content that we expose ourselves to is in the media doesn't end up breaking us at some instance. Most decisions are based on what we see in the media. We all rely on the media to make decisions based on what we see, whether it be for information, entertainment, social harmony, watchdog, economical glue, etc. Media managers are aware of the fact that society depends on the media for basically everything, and hence they act as gatekeepers. They push out the content that they believe is worthy and important for us to know. This concept is called the agenda setting. It was introduced in 1972 by Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw in their groundbreaking study of the role of the media in 1968 presidential campaign in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Agenda setting. Now let's talk about that for a bit. Agenda setting is one of the most popular topics in mass communication research, with about a dozen publications appearing each year for the past several decades. The theory states that the news or the media had a large influence on audience. Don't we know that? It's being true. We watch the news and we see things happening in the world today, and we have a tendency to sit back and be a little lax with the situation, and we are living in a microwave society where we want everything fast, and we let the media take over and dictate how we feel. Media managers in their data collection and presentation of the news always tend to focus on our attention and influence our perception of what are the most important issues of the day. One topic for an example would be the whole Kim Kardashian wedding fiasco. Now, don't we know that was the biggest fiasco? One of the latest media frenzies was that the media is to blame. The media is to blame for the hype that the wedding brought about. They had a pre-wedding hype that saw almost all forms of media talking about and promoting, they said, about the wedding. And actually the wedding itself was even filmed by media organizations. 72 days after, there comes a post on the internet and on the news all over reporting of a divorce. 72 days. In other words, 72 hours, excuse me. What is the important note here? That the media house deliver what it is that the audience wants to see. And since their objective is to maximize profit by increasing viewership, they would go to any extent to do just that. Is to create the hype so they can get your attention to believe what they're saying. This ability is to influence audience perception, just as I said, and behavior regarding topics on public agenda is known as the agenda setting role of the news media. The media does toil with individuals' emotions by exposing them to a dense or a vague reality of what actually is. Merely being observant of my surroundings and noting down the significant observations as I watch CSI Miami is a good move, don't you think? But can I go further? Do the real investigators in real life go through those stages as shown in the program? Do they really have the equipment that give you the right answers on the spot? There are a lot of things to it. I tend to think and reason a whole lot more about my surroundings and try to solve and understand mysterious questions. The truth about agenda setting theory is that there is always a hidden truth and a reality behind a given story or news items that is reported and makes individuals reason, wonder, and to make decisions. In conclusion, media as I consume it today is really worth it, and I'm content. The media plays a huge role in the lives of every individual, both positive and negative, and it does have disastrous effect. However, we really cannot do without the news media. What is important is what should be able to regulate and monitor our use and be sure to use for our good rather than bad. Also, I would like to reflect back on some of our earlier findings in our earlier studies in our semester. We were asked to respond to a statement or a question about spiral of silence theory. This is exactly what I'm speaking of. You know, how we sit by lifelessly and we do not go against what the media says. Why? Because I feel that we don't take the time to research, probe, and take note of factual information. This is why I'm attracted to detective shows like CSI Miami, because they cut out all the craziness around us and they stick to the facts to determine who, what, when, and how. Even though the show is just an hour, I'm thinking and I'm feeling for sure that the investigations, if the show would be aired more than an hour, would possibly break down and take more time to break down the facts of the reality of the criminal act. I feel the show deals with real life scenarios, and I know I see myself being extra cautious of my surroundings, remaining aware about people's movements around me and doing everything possible to be able to realize and take note of intending danger. Also, it makes me remain on the tip of my toes at all times. I am more quick-witted, making decisions and carefully analyzing the effect that decisions will cause. Well, I hope, Professor Abernathy, that you have enjoyed my presentation. I have really enjoyed this class, Communications. It has really made me more aware of the media, and it has given me a more sense of trying to find the facts rather to get wrapped up into the media frenzy. I hope to share this class and share the information from the textbook and from what I've learned from my fellow students with other people, and to use it throughout my life. And I thank you very much. Happy holidays, and I really enjoyed the class. Thank you.